Okay, so we're going to go over a few ways to do keyword research training when trying to figure out target keywords for content and other things. So in this little video, I'm going to go over 4 ways to do research. So the first is fairly simple. And on the line, we do have Marina. Say hi, Marina.
Hello.
Okay, so for this example, we're going to look at one of our financial services clients who they're targeting phrases such as estate planning and life transition planning. So the first method is to use Google Suggests. So one of the phrases is estate planning. And Google Suggests is simply when you just type in the phrase and then you look through and see this drop-down menu here. And these are different phrases that people look for in addition to estate planning. So some of these might not be relevant. So estate planning definition might not be the best phrase to include because it doesn't really read well when included like that in content. But something like estate planning trust, estate planning checklist, estate planning forms, estate planning costs, these are all pretty good phrases to use. And the other part of Google Suggests, you also have this list down here. Now, sometimes this list will be the same as what you see in the drop-down menu, but there can also be additional phrases here. So that's the first method. So any questions on that, Marina?
No, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay. So that's the first method. So the second method you'll probably already see here on the right-hand side. This is a Chrome extension called Keywords Everywhere. It's a free Chrome extension, and you can actually use it to find keywords, but more importantly, get data on those keywords. So you'll see here in this little table, once you install Chrome Keywords Everywhere, the extension, anytime you do a Google search, you'll see the volume for that particular phrase, the cost per click. So if you're running paid advertisements, and a competition on a scale from 0 to 1, where 1 is the most difficult keyword. So when we're doing the keyword research, go ahead, Marina.
Yeah, how to get this related keywords extension?
Yep, so you're just going to go to the Google Chrome store. So if you just did a quick Google search for keywords everywhere, Chrome extension. Yep, so you'll know it's like chrome.google.com. And you just click it.
So it's like application.
Yeah, are you familiar with Chrome extensions?
Not really.
Okay, so a Chrome extension is basically assuming that you're using you do use the Google Chrome browser, correct?
Yes, right.
Okay. Yeah, so a Chrome extension is basically an extension of the browser's functionality. So there are a lot of different things you can do or install here. You can see here everything right here are my Chrome extensions, or some of them. But basically, extension allows you to do like some extra task or some extra feature to Chrome. Let me ask, what type of mobile phone do you have?
iPhone.
iPhone. So a perfect comparison would be on the iPhone. You have different apps that add extra functionality to your iPhone. It's basically the same idea here.
Oh, yeah, I got it. So it's like basically like additional tool for my Chrome browser.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So yeah, you would just install it here, and then it'll probably take a minute or two, and then you'll be able to use it.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So back to the explaining the Keywords Everywhere extension. So you can see here, there's a volume column, VOL stands for column, CPC again stands for cost per
Mm-hmm.
click, and then comp stands for competition. So the goal with really good keyword research is that we want to look for phrases that have a good search volume. So I would say at least 100 searches per month. These are all monthly numbers, but it's also not very competitive. So you can see here, estate planning checklist, over 1,600 people look for this phrase per month, but it has a fairly high competition rating of 0.8, which is kind of closer to 1 than 0. However, if we look at estate planning trust, 720 average searches per month, but it has a moderate competition level of 0.52. So that
Mm-hmm.
might be a good phrase to go after.
Trust and basic, right?
Yep. Yep. And really it's relative. So if you are in a very competitive niche, then obviously the keywords are going to be more competitive. But you want to find those opportunities where you can go after less competitive keywords, but that have good search volume. And so usually the keywords that are going to fit the bill here are called long tail keywords. And so long tail, in a nutshell, is usually going to be a phrase that's either 3 to 4 words at least. So an example of long tail here would be estate planning checklist. You can even see here you have like even more phrases that you can look at. So
Mm-hmm.
estate planning checklist for seniors would be a perfect long tail keyword. There aren't as many searches, only 70 per month, but you can be sure that someone who's looking for estate planning checklist for seniors, they know exactly what they're looking for. And if you're able to match that search intent, then you have a good chance of converting that searcher. So any questions on that part, Marina?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
You sure?
Just how to indicate exactly the long keywords, because the seniors can be anything basically. How to get the best?
So I wouldn't necessarily go for the best. One thing, I will look at the metrics that we've already went over: search volume, cost per click, and competition.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's better just to use all of them as long as they
Okay.
make sense in the context of the article.
Mm-hmm.
Take a wide net approach instead of just picking one or two.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question because I didn't go over cost per click and how that factors in here. So cost per click is the average cost that a AdWords click would cost if you were bidding on that keyword. So let's say, for example, if I had an ad campaign that was targeting estate planning, and one of the keywords I bid on were estate planning checklists. So on average, that click would cost $8.40 USD in dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that tells me is that if someone is paying money for these clicks, then that means that they are valuable. And you'll see that sometimes these numbers can get really high, and it just tells you that someone is making money from that keyword.
Uh-huh.
So that's definitely something, if you're looking at keywords, if you see that the cost per click is very low, that either means that it's a very rare keyword that people don't use as often, but it could still be a good opportunity, just that people aren't really searching for it yet. Or when it's people don't search for it at all. So when it's high, that means that people are bidding for it or paying for it, and they're getting some good ROI for bidding on that keyword. So it's kind of like market dynamics. If it's a large demand for it, then the price is going to go higher.
Okay, how many words should we have at the long keywords?
I would say when we're talking about an article,
Yes.
really the more you can include, the better.
Could you please try to, let's say, try to play with real estate planning VC wheel?
Real estate planning. Real estate.
Planning. Yeah, we have this like in the related keywords. We have the last one is the most expensive.
Yeah, so real estate planning, sure.
Planning.
Is that what you're saying right here?
Yes, we see will.
Okay. Yeah, so
And what kind of long keywords can be for that? Vice versa.
yeah, so you have real estate planning and development, real estate planning jobs, real estate planning PDF, real estate planning consultants, real estate planning software, real estate planning group, real estate planning manager. So honestly, it depends on the topic that you're writing on. You know, I would say, let's just say you were writing something about real estate planning. The only one that will probably be relevant here is real estate planning consultants and real estate and planning and development, and real estate planning group. Now, let's say you were writing an article about a real estate planning career or a career in real estate planning.
No, real estate planning for seniors, let's say.
Real estate planning for seniors, let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's not
Not the best.
But yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, so there aren't really any keywords here. So wills and estates. So let's just say you were writing an article about real estate planning for seniors. Then wills and estate, that's probably a phrase that you should include in there. And yeah, you would just go down this list here and try to pick out what would be relevant to that particular topic. So estate planning for elderly parents, that would probably be a good one.
So do pay attention for volume and CPC.
I'm sorry?
Pay attention for volume and CPC, right?
CPC, and really all three of these. So you don't want to go after extremely competitive keywords if the website isn't that, if it's not a very large website. It'll just be much more difficult to rank for those keywords. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. I just wanted to make like more clear tips how to build the long-term keywords.
Yep.
When it's really like 4 or 5 words.
Yep. Yeah, so basically when you're doing the research, you're going to start off with something general as your primary keyword. So kind of going back to the estate planning example. So this would be your primary keyword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's very general and it provides a lot of long tail opportunities. But then from that primary keyword, you're going to build a list of alternative keywords. So so all of these that we went over, again, you want to pick out those that are relevant. So if you're not writing about estate planning for seniors, then it's not necessarily important to include that in the content, right?
Okay.
Okay. And before I go on to the next tool that I use for keyword research, there was something I did want to go over. So using Marina's example, real estate planning. So you'll notice here there's this little box as people also ask. Mm-hmm. So this is called a feature snippet. And in a nutshell, what this is a collection of questions that people commonly ask about this particular topic. Okay. So when looking for real estate planning, people also ask about what is real estate planning, why you should do estate planning, which isn't necessarily relevant, and how much do estate planners make, which may or may not be relevant, and then what are the benefits of estate planning. So if we're just targeting real estate planning, the only question that we might want to target on here is what is real estate planning?
Real estate planning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, is it not the Google Google Chrome options that they just offer these features just to quick research in general, find a quick questions, answer for your questions, because it's come up before any other like links. It's just really on top.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So Usually when a featured snippet comes up, it's for people who are doing research. So they're trying to, for this example, trying to find out more about real estate planning. And so what Google does is it takes all of its data, search data, and tries to return commonly asked questions to kind of help people who are searching further along on their route. And instead of having to click through to a website and find an answer, the answer is right here. You just have to click the expand button.
Okay.
Yep. So that is, so we've already went over using Google Suggest. The second method was using the Keywords Everywhere tool. And then this is kind of related to Google Suggest. You just kind of look at the featured snippet and see what are the common questions that people are asking. So for the actual keyword, the keyword that you will pull here is the question phrase. What is real estate planning? That would be one of your alternative keywords. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
People may ask.
So those are the first two. So I'm going to go to some external tools now. So the first is called answerthepublic.com.
Answerthepublic.com, right?
Yep.
.com. Okay.
And so you'll know you're at the right website. You have this funny guy here in the background. And so kind of the same as what we did with real estate planning. So let's just actually let's go back to our original example, estate planning.
Estate planning.
Yep. You're going to click Get Questions. And while that loads,
region, what does it mean? Pro only.
Oh, so this is just I'm not signed in. And okay. for the case of this example, you just kind of want a list of questions. But if you were targeting a specific region, so let's say you're outside of the USA, or your client is outside of the USA, or your website is targeted to people outside of the USA, then you might want to opt in for the pro version. But since this is just a US example, the free version will do. Now, while that is loading, basically what Answer the Public does is very similar to this featured snippet. It's a tool. It pulls all of the questions from social media, from websites like Quora or Yahoo Answers. It pulls all of these questions and basically gives you a list on what questions people ask related to a topic. Now, backing up from keyword research a bit, the first step is figuring out what questions your target audience is asking. And to produce good content, you want to make sure that you're addressing those questions, providing answers to them. And so let's say you were writing a blog article related to estate planning. You obviously want to make sure that you are answering questions that people are asking about estate planning. Not only does this make your content more useful, but people will be more likely to share it on social media. They'll be more likely to come back to it when they're ready to get a professional, and so on. So that's really why you want to make sure you're addressing questions that people are asking.
Oh, wow.
So you see here, you actually have a long list down here.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so estate planning is a very popular topic. But if you just follow the little wheel here, you can kind of see what's going on. So if we look at all questions with the word can in it, can estate planning fees be deducted? How can estate planning be seen as a gift? How can estate planning be seen as a gift Quizlet? Who can do estate planning? Can CPAs do estate planning? Can you deduct estate planning? Can you deduct estate planning fees on taxes? How can we do estate planning? So obviously there's a lot of redundancy there, but what I recommend is just taking a quick look at the questions, not going one by one, but just getting kind of idea of the questions people are asking and making sure that they're of course relevant to the article that you're writing, but also just making sure that they fit in with the context of the article. And then just adding these question phrases to your list of keywords. So typically when I'm looking at this, I don't spend any more than 5 or 10 minutes just kind of looking at these different graphics to see if there are any phrases that I can pull from this.
Do you use those questions as a keywords?
Yeah, exactly. So you want to use these question phrases as keywords. Yep.
So those phrases can be as long keywords.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, that's a good question. So these phrases are very good long tail keywords.
Okay, this is answering my question how to form if we can use the one which are already formed and used by people.
Yep, yep. And so one important note about these different questions. So I highly suggest when you're making your content order or writing the content yourself that you format these different phrase questions, these different questions as either subheadings. So like in WordPress, it would be a heading 2 or a heading 3, but preferably heading 2, and that you kind of just make it its own section. So if, let's say, for example, you were writing an article about estate planning fees, one of your sections could be, are estate planning fees tax deductible? And then in that particular section, you answer the question, are estate planning fees tax deductible? Does that make sense, Marina?
Yes. I have a question in case like you sample as a WordPress, but if we work via a text broker, how many times this long keyword should go into the article?
Yeah, so typically for long tail keywords, I stick to 1 or 2 times. Usually once will be enough. But that's why you want to have several long tail keywords. That way they're kind of sprinkled throughout the content.
And primary keywords we use 2-3 times, right?
Yeah, 2 to 3 times. You want to make sure that you're not doing what's called keyword stuffing. So basically just using a keyword over and over again, even when it doesn't make sense. That used to be an old SEO strategy, but it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, and how many primary keywords we're supposed to have?
So primary, only 1.
No, I mean, okay, short and long. How many short keywords? Like 2-3 words, 1-2 words.
So there's no, I guess, limit on 1 and 2, like the number of words. I'm just telling you, typically your primary keyword is going to be 1 word or 2 words. Your long tail keywords are usually going to be three words or more. But yeah, don't focus too much on that. Just focus on having a primary keyword. So in that case, this is estate planning, and then having long tail keywords related to that primary keyword.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as the number of keywords or number of words in the phrase, don't get too bogged down by that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so that's answertopublic.com, and just kind of give you a quick overview of what else is here.
And if you go down, so it suggests everything like only estate planning. And what kind of other phrases maintain if you go down?
So it has questions, so question phrases. There are prepositions, comparisons. So comparison, that would be, relevant in certain contexts. And then it actually just had like an alphabetical list of phrases. So in reality, you don't have to use Google Suggest, keywords everywhere, and answer to public. You could probably just use answer to public, and it will give you the keywords that you should be looking for. And it might be even easier.
Okay, related. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'll see here on the alphabetical order related section, it actually pulls in every phrase for estate planning. You can actually see, when we were looking at keywords everywhere, you can see the stats here. So estate planning attorney, about 10,000 searches per month, 9,900. And then on average, it's a cost per click of $16.66. And it has a competition rating of 0.48.
Okay, so yeah, so they also have like price, click per CPC, click per price, and also the value, right?
Yes.
So basically the same information that we have on the tool previously.
Right, exactly. It's a lot of overlap. So yeah, that's answer the public in a nutshell. Any other questions on that one?
No, it is really, I really like this related keywords. They're really good.
Okay, great. So the next tool I'm going to go over is called Uber Suggest. And so this is actually a tool from Neil Patel.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Yeah, have you been reading his content?
No, he's interesting guy, so I knew him before.
Yeah. So let's just stick with our example, estate planning.
Uber Suggest, okay.
So you can see here, this also provides really good data. So search volume, 14,800. SEO difficulty, 43. So this is actually on a scale of 0 to 100.
Sorry, what is like SEO difficulty means? The keywords itself?
Yeah, that's a good question. So SEO difficulty, for the most part, means, let's say we had a brand new website about estate planning. SEO difficulty kind of gives you an idea on how difficult it would be to rank for that particular phrase. So for estate planning, it's given it a score of 43, which is medium. So it's not super easy to rank for it, but it's not super difficult. And just kind of backing up there a bit, when I say rank, I mean, be placed very high in the Google search results. So.
And here you also have data over months, right? The numbers we have, like 43, 68, is data for the month, or how is targeted?
No. So SEO difficulty, unless search trends change, that's pretty much going to stay constant. Paid difficulty, the same, unless the trends change, it's probably going to stay at 68 rating. And same with cost per click. The only thing that would change, and probably not even monthly, would be the search volume. So you can see here, this little chart will show you the search volume by the month. So on average, it's 14,800, but you can see some months, like in April or January, for example, it's closer to 19,000. That could be for a number of reasons. Maybe more people look for estate planning help at the beginning of the year or right before the summer. I mean, it could be a lot of different reasons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Seasonally.
Yeah, seasonality, exactly. So yeah, this tool, and then it also provides keyword ideas. So this is very similar to Google Suggest and Answer the Public, where you can kind of get other variations for estate planning. So if we click View All Keyword Ideas.
Oh wow. Social share, it means.
Wait. Yeah. Wait, let me see here. Yeah, keyword ideas. So yeah, so these are your variations of the keywords. I was trying to see, maybe that's a different version where you can see the entire list. But I think you get the idea there, is that this list will provide you different variations for that keyword.
Maybe if you click to export to SCAV.
Good point. Yeah, let's see.
And it may have all of them.
Good point. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. So you'll see the complete list here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot. So what you don't want to do is spend a ton of time looking at this, because many of these are going to be irrelevant. What I would do is just kind of, spend 10, 15 minutes going through this list and just picking out good fits for your content and then using those.
But basically, search per volume search is the best because it's the most request.
Yeah, so search volume, it'll tell you like if a keyword is popular or not, but remember the kind of the metric, the search difficulty. So yeah, it might be great to target estate planning if you're a large website or you have a very old website. But let's say if you were a brand new estate planning attorney and your website is maybe a month old, then it will be very difficult to go after this particular phrase because it has a search difficulty of 43, which isn't terrible. There are definitely more difficult keywords, but it won't be as easy to rank for as, let's say, estate planning versus will or estate planning lawyer salary. And really remember the whole idea here is that you want to rank for your content so that you improve your web traffic. That's the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just looking what would I pick from all of this from the, let's say, top 15 first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it really would vary.
Sounds good because cost per click is average towards everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it really would vary also based on the topic of the article, right?
Okay.
So if you were, let's say if you were just looking for some estate planning help, then, you might want to look at estate planning attorney, estate planning lawyer, estate planning checklist, and so forth. But let's say you wanted to do your estate planning on your own, or let's say, better example, let's say you were looking for estate planning a specific location, then you would just look at estate planning Maryland or estate planning attorney. MN is abbreviation for Minnesota. You would just target those particular terms.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then, one other thing, so this is pretty much Uber suggests in a nutshell. One other thing you want to look at here, let's see, are the top pages that are ranking for that phrase. So what this little panel over here shows you, so for estate planning, these are the top pages that are ranking for it. And the way you would use this, I would just go onto the website. So let's just do the top 3. I usually do the top 5, but just for this example, let's do the top 3. And let's see what they're talking about on those pages. Let's move this out the way. Okay, so this is the site's homepage. You can kind of just see some of the topics they're talking about. So they have a estate planning glossary, 10 things you need to know about estate planning, inherited IRAs no longer safe from creditors. That could be a topic. Estate planning, dive in deeper. That could be a separate article. And the reason why you want to look at the top pages that are ranking is because it's a reason why they're ranking well. Their particular content, the topics that they're writing on, they're doing very well. So you want to make sure that if you're doing just one article, that you can touch on some of these topics, or even if you're kind of looking at it from a broader approach, you're trying to find different content topics. These are all topics that would work well related to estate planning.
Could you please go back to the Uber planning?
Sure.
And this is the social, what is a social share?
Yeah, so good question. So social shares, that's the number of times that it's been shared on social media, like Facebook, Twitter.
Different, like LinkedIn. Whatever. It can be like LinkedIn, any other social media, Twitter, yep. Facebook, or everything.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So there have been 571 social shares of estate planning. So that means someone is, or I guess I should say 571 people have shared this particular link.
I mean, yeah, because it's interesting statistic, because if you look at a social SEO first link, it's like pretty much high, but the
Yep.
domain score is low. And on the version number in Listopedia is the domain score is 66, but it's just like 180 shares. So
Yeah,
and
so
but good number of, not really high number of visits, but domain is scored like higher.
yeah, so there's a lot to that question. So all of these metrics they all factor into how well your website ranks. And these are just 3 of them. There are almost 200 different metrics that Google uses to figure out where your website should rank. Domain score, that's basically a metric that tells people or tells you how authoritative that website is. So if we're just looking at the main score, Wikipedia is the most authoritative website here in this list, which makes sense because Wikipedia is a very popular website. There's a lot of content there. But that's not the only factor that when it comes to ranking. Otherwise, Wikipedia would probably rank number 1 for a lot of terms, but we see here it doesn't. It's actually just a estate planning website. So the main score is very good to look at because let's go back to the example. Let's say that you were an estate planning attorney and you were looking to rank for the general phrase estate planning. Well, if you have a domain score of 10 or even lower, that you're going to have some work to do if you want to rank because you're going against very high authority websites. Does that make sense, Marina?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so glad you asked that. Now, kind of going back to what we were looking at, some of the top pages. So pretty much, yeah, you just want to look at what they're talking about, writing about. Usually what I like to do is when I'm giving examples to the writer, kind of share with them some of these links so they can kind of have a better idea of what I'm looking for, what kind of subtopics I'm looking for in the content. So, if we're looking at this page, what is estate planning? Remember, that's one of those phrases we saw on Google Suggest.
Previously, yes.
Yep. Estate planning is for everyone, so that might be a phrase you want to touch on. Too many people don't plan. So lack of planning, that might be a good subtopic. If you don't have a plan, your state has one for you, but you probably won't like it. So that would be a good subtopic. So basically, what they're saying is make sure that you have a plan in place. Otherwise, the government will do it for you, which probably won't be the best for your family. So yeah, that's the main takeaway here is that just kind of go through these different articles that are ranking well and just see the different subtopics they are talking about. There again, that's what is estate planning. Here it goes again. And making sure that you're at least addressing those in your content. So writing a will would be a very good subtopic. So that's pretty much how you build like this list of keywords and list of subtopics to include in the content. Yep. And before we wrap it up, so I'll share with you a few tools here. Google Suggests, Keywords Everywhere, AnswerThePublic.com, and then Uber Suggest. And it's not expected that you use all of these tools because, as you've seen, there's a lot of overlap. What I suggest is that you play around with all 4 of them, and then figure out which one is easiest for you to use, where you feel the most comfortable with using, and then just using that tool moving forward.
Okay.
So for myself, I usually if I'm doing just a quick keyword research, then I'll just use Google Suggest. But if I'm doing something more thorough, then I'll come in here to Answer the Public and Uber Suggest. And usually using those 2 tools, I usually get all of the information that I need.
If you need to write a subtopic, which is the best tool for that?
So for subtopics, I would kind of just use Uber Suggest and then just look at some of the high-ranking pages. Just kind of look at what topics they're writing on. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm just keeping notes in parallel. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. But yeah, just remember the idea here is, okay, you want to target really good keywords, primary keywords and long tail keywords. But the important part is you want to produce great content. And, writing on different subtopics, that helps your content be more thorough, more comprehensive. That way, when someone reads the content, they'll have all the answers that they need. And that increases the likelihood of them contacting a client to make sure that and see, possibly doing business with them or returning to the website later, which is, a good thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure you understand, like, outside of keyword research, kind of the bigger goal here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So that's all I had. Any other questions?
Just like let me digest this information.
Okay. Sure.
So far it's good. Yeah, because I was asking questions along the conversation.
Okay, sure. So I'll go ahead and stop recording.